Hello. If anyone's watching, so sorry. I'm about 5 minutes late today because I've been very sluggish and trying to figure out how to get on here. Take a week off and forget how to set everything up. Okay. Hi, Marsha. Thanks for watching. We're going to get started pretty much ASAP. Dr. Robin's just finishing up with a couple of patients that are still here. But I'll just go ahead and get started for everybody. So I am Dr. Sarah Ponica. I'm here at Get Well Family Chiropractic in Florissant, Missouri. I work with my principal chiropractor, Dr. Robin Lawrence, and she will be joining me here very shortly. Today we are really excited to welcome you guys here, and we are going to start assessing our relationship with health and well-being. So after a lot of trial and error, I think Dr. Robin and I could both attest to this. We're really motivated to share the tools that we've used to improve on our own relationships to health. And it's our goal today to share the most effective ways to improve your health and also to help you assess your stance on them honestly and truthfully. And being honest with ourselves about our health is really the only way to get to the bottom of any issues and just start implementing lasting changes in our health. And so if you think that any of your friends might benefit from this Facebook Live class, go ahead and hit share on our video, or you can start a watch party. I am actually going to share it really quick before we actually get started. And we just love to get our message out to as many people as we can every single week with our Facebook Live classes. We love to reach as many people as possible and help as many people as possible. And any questions that you guys might have along the way, just go ahead and leave them in the comments, and we can get a conversation started, because that is something that we really love to do on these classes, is actually get a discussion going. And as always, please just maintain an open, honest, and understanding mind when it comes to each other's unique experiences, if we do have different people talking in the comments. And this way we can just start to cultivate more honesty and openness around our relationship with health. So with that being said, I am going to share the video. And welcome. Hi, Gina. Okay, let me figure out how to share this. Like I said a couple of minutes ago, we took last week off, and I feel like I don't remember how to use Facebook Live anymore. Okay. Share to my news feed. All right, shared. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. And like I said, Dr. Robin will be here in just a minute to join me here. She is just seeing off a couple of patients that were our last patients of the day. Okay, so what is health to you? So one aspect of improving our health is, in any area, is first to assess what your current relationship is with that area. And to do this, it's really important to ask yourself and honestly answer the question of, what does health mean to you? So consider your understanding of the word health, and then consider your idea of optimum health. Now, what is the difference between those two definitions? Many people would consider their idea of health somewhere within the spectrum of a state of optimum physical and mental health. Yet, even within this, there are going to be a lot of different variables that are going to come up. So once you've compiled your ultimate definitions of health and well-being, and if you guys want to share your definitions of health in the comments, you can definitely do that. But once you've compiled those definitions, it's time to get things moving towards those definitions. Get real about your current beliefs and habits. Be honest with yourself about your current state of health. This is the only way that you'll be able to move forward from a place of stable awareness. So what are your priorities? To begin, ask yourself the following questions. What have you allowed to take priority over your health? And are you prepared to tackle this lifestyle factor in order to take back control of your health? If the answer to the second question is no, then you still need to do some searching to uncover the true value of changing that answer to a yes. All right, so what are your core beliefs? Core beliefs are the term that's used to describe the underlying thoughts and accepted realities that we hold for ourselves, due primarily to conditioned environments and experiences that we are exposed to throughout life. And many of these beliefs encompass the sphere of health without us even realizing it, be it mental or physical, and thus it plays a huge role in the level of overall health that we maintain. Things like childhood and home environment, activity levels, mental stimulation, diet, and personal relationships are all central to the development of certain core beliefs, both positive and negative. And studies have even shown how beliefs can impact longevity. Some examples of limiting core beliefs include, I can't be my real self or I'll be judged. I can't fall in love or my heart will be broken. And I can't pursue my dreams because they might fail. You can see how these beliefs would reflect negativity on somebody's life. And in terms of health and well-being, it's normal for this kind of belief to impact both our behavior and the behavior of those around us, which in turn has a spiraling effect on our lives. So, thinking of your relationship with health as you would think of any other relationship is a good way to start assessing the areas where you might be struggling. Core beliefs are definitely one of these areas. Examples of some health-related core beliefs sounds like, I will never experience optimum health. Well-being is unattainable for me. I'm not worth it. I don't have time, and it's too expensive. The more we reassert these statements, whether verbally or not, we are automatically reshaping our reality to align with them. And our reality is a direct reflection and manifestation of the beliefs that we hold to be true. And health beliefs here are no different. So ask yourself, are you speaking any of the above to yourself? Any of those examples of those poor health-related core beliefs? And if you are, which ones? Hi, Haley. Thanks for watching. All right, so let's take a look at physical health here. Physical health is very important to consider when assessing our relationship to health as a whole, and yet it shouldn't be confused as the only important aspect. Very often in today's world, especially with social media, health is portrayed as a peak state of physical fitness. And this will often set unrealistic ideals for the public to meet, causing unnecessary stress and ironically actually lowering overall health in the process. This image is damaging on a lot of different levels, and it's often difficult for people of all ages to distance themselves from the idea that their body must look a certain way to be healthy. The reality of the matter here is that every body type has a different state of optimum health, and the only way to obtain this is to become more self-aware and consciously choose to prioritize your individual needs. Eating right, exercising for your body type, and maintaining an overall sense of positivity and well-being is key to keeping physical health in alignment. My partner has arrived.
I'm here. It's a miracle.
So we're talking about our relationship with health.
Yeah.
And we just finished talking about physical health here.
Okay.
Alrighty. You want to take this one?
No, go ahead. Let me catch up. Let me
Okay.
key into what's going on.
Go ahead. So now we're going to talk about mental health a little bit. So most people are quick to assess physical ailments when they arise by going to doctors, receiving medications, taking off work to rest, or speaking openly about physical imbalances. But when it comes to your mental health, too many people are still silent and reluctant to assess the realities of their mental imbalances.
Yeah, it's got a big stigma on it still, doesn't it?
It does, yep. Mental health is just as important as physical health to address when we're seeking to boost our overall health.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so important to consider this before embarking on major change, too. And while poor physical health will manifest itself as illness and other familiar forms of imbalance, mental health might not be so obvious. Signs to look out for here are going to be regularly fluctuating moods, poor self-image, negative self-talk, repeated negative behaviors, overall negative outlook on life, and difficulty concentrating.
Mm-hmm.
So if you feel like you might be experiencing any of those symptoms that I just listed, then it might be your mental health, which requires a little bit more attention.
Yeah, absolutely. And in mental and emotional health, 80% of our physical symptoms sometimes can come from mental emotional imbalance.
I wonder if I can make these words bigger. They're so teeny.
That is. That's a little bit. So while your health imbalances will manifest differently in everybody, right? No matter if it's physical or mental, there is a significant evidence. There is English language here, right? There has been significant evidence to support the fact that physical and mental elements of our well-being are significantly linked, like I just said. For example, the likelihood of someone suffering from poor mental health to develop a related physical illness at a later stage in life is much higher than someone who does not. PTSD and anxiety are common mental health disorders with strong links to the development of cancer, diabetes, asthma, even high blood pressure later in life. And according to mentalhealth.org, 37.6% of people with severe mental health conditions also have long-term physical conditions.
Conditioned reactions. So it's a scientific fact that from a young age we absorb beliefs and behaviors from our immediate environments.
Mm-hmm.
And so this means that when it comes to health-related issues, our beliefs shape much of what our minds and bodies experience throughout our lives and manifest it either as well-being or ill health. And this can very often prove to be at extreme ends of the spectrum, either preoccupied with acquiring and maintaining good health or just completely being disinterested in and unaware of our imbalances.
Mm-hmm.
And assessing where you're at on the scale of hypochondriac versus someone who completely is apathetic about their health is a good way to judge where your health lies about core values.
Mm-hmm.
And chances are, if you're here today, you have a good or at least an improving attitude towards health and are seeking to learn ways to properly implement this for lasting change in your life.
Love my seekers. Awakening seekers.
Indeed.
Mm-hmm.
So cultivating awareness of this is the first step. Take some time to maybe write down some thoughts or experiences that you feel have contributed to your overall sense of well-being and health throughout your life.
Yeah, absolutely. That's how we inquire.
Mm-hmm.
So relationships play a significant role in the quality of our mental health. It's important to consider how we interact with loved ones and those around us when seeking to achieve higher levels of health and well-being. Studies show that it's the quality of the relationships over the quantity, right? So think Facebook friends, which ascertains how beneficial or negative they are in your life. In fact, those who experience higher levels of satisfaction in a smaller number of personal relationships are more likely to experience better overall health.
Makes sense.
It does. As the study linked below explains, we're going to put a link to a study in the comments, okay? Being in a stable relationship has been attributed to lower rates of morbidity and mortality. While being in a relationship can have positive benefits for health, it is important to recognize that unhappy relationships can be more destructive than otherwise as well.
So the World Health Organization, they define environment as it relates to health as all the physical, chemical, and biological factors external to a person and all the related behaviors. It follows so that health is not limited to just the physical and chemical reactions of our biological sphere, but the direct interactions that we have with the world around us too. And in terms of our mental health, the environment can refer to the relationships that we cultivate and the physical environment where we spend most of our everyday lives. So for instance, a person in a non-fulfilling relationship who works in a small, dark, and cluttered environment every day is likely to suffer from some sort of a mental health issue. Compare this to someone in a loving, mutual, beneficial relationship whose work environment is bright, spacious, and dynamic, and it's easy to guess their level of overall health.
Yeah.
If you think of cluttered living spaces as a reflection of the kind of mind which lives in it, maybe cluttered, messy, and disorganized, it becomes easier to see the benefits of ensuring a clear, open space. So if you're serious about improving your relationship with health, it's likely that you'll need to make some changes to your immediate environment to facilitate this.
Right? And we were actually talking about that earlier today, weren't we? Right? How, a cluttered environment is a cluttered mind. There's chaos. There's no space to create. There's no peace, no certainty or confidence, right? And so having a clean bedroom, a clean desk at your office, a clean workspace, a clean house really creates a sense of freedom and creativity and the ability to create better relationships and be more aware of what's happening mentally with you, for sure. Toxins, right? So following on from the concept of maximizing the quality of your external environment to reflect the inner one, we are also experiencing an extremely concerning increase of environmental toxins all over the world. This has a direct impact on our quality of health. Toxins exist everywhere within our atmosphere, from the air that we breathe to the food that we eat, the clothes we wear, the water we drink. And while many of these may seem unavoidable, taking an interest in your health means it might be time to assess your relationship with these toxins and eliminate any unnecessary encounters that may be sabotaging to your health. One such toxin is formaldehyde. This is a common ingredient in cosmetic products such as deodorants and shampoos. It can cause reactions such as sensitivity of your skin, a dry cough, nosebleeds, even itchy eyes. In the immediate environment, formaldehyde can exist in newly built homes and is impossible to detect without formal testing. This is why it's important to have tests performed when building new homes. It can be dissipated through various kinds of adhesive glues and architectural products.
Interesting. Yes. Okay, so a little bit more about toxins here.
There we go.
So there are various neurological, gastrointestinal, kidney, and bone marrow toxicity disorders that can be caused by lead, as well as neurodevelopmental defects.
Mm-hmm.
And there's also numerous effects that this and other heavy metals can have on the developing brain and nervous systems. Mercury poisoning can manifest in the form of headaches, low back pain, weakness, fatigue, tremors, and hallucinations.
Mm-hmm.
And to improve overall health, especially in the case of high-risk patients such as young children, pregnant women, or elderly people, it's advised really to reduce the use of and limit exposure to the products listed here.
Mm-hmm.
Lead, which can be in paint and gasoline, and then mercury, which comes from mass-produced dental and medical equipment, fertilizers, pesticides, and amalgam fillings.
Right, those fillings. Now, I don't think lead paint is really used anymore.
Yeah.
However, a lot of older homes have old paint that is chipping, right?
Mhm.
So that's why we want to make sure that the kids don't eat the chipping paint.
And
especially if you like your children.
Right, well, yeah. So in terms of our health, it's interesting to consider the presence of these products in our lives and how normalized many of them have become.
Yeah. So behavioral medicine, right, refers to the integration of knowledge in the biological, behavioral, psychological, and social sciences. These fields are then applied and compared to the diagnosis of a particular illness, where we can begin to pinpoint how specific behavioral habits impact health. Behavioral medicine is a good way to assess our current relationships with health. It requires us to really take a look at habits and tendencies that may lead us to make poor health choices in the first place, and then remain in this unaware state, right? It's that hamster wheel. So think of it this way. If you aren't aware that something we do on a regular basis is contributing to our poor health, then how do we expect to improve it? So assessing behaviors and lifestyle factors have been proven to impact the development of imbalances such as, but not limited to, heart disease, cancer, diabetes, and even coronary artery disease. Are you really being honest about your current behavioral tendencies?
So, as a consequence of the growing awareness of things like behavioral and environmental factors on our health, there is an increasing awareness of ways for both preventing and treating illnesses in many different spheres. Preventative medicine focuses on identifying and assessing lifestyle choices with the intent of finding the root cause to imbalances, which manifest physically and mentally as illness. And it's intended to promote primary prevention, intervention, and to empower patients' self-management of their health behaviors into the future. Mm-hmm. And that fits pretty well into our chiropractic
Exactly. It sounds exactly like our sphere.
Yes. And preventive medicine involves getting to know your individual needs, your restrictions, and stressors when it comes to health, and implement strategies to get to that root cause and remove it from your life. This allows you to create space for optimum enjoyment and fulfillment in other areas of life, and it ultimately improves the overall quality of our life.
Yeah, our relationship with our health is pervasive into all areas of life. That's for sure. Oh, the word trigger, right, is most often associated with mental health issues, but it can apply to physical health complaints too. Right? In mental health imbalances, a trigger describes something which, by association with previous experience, can send even a mentally stable individual into a state or episode of poor mental health. For instance, someone who suffers from anxiety or panic disorders can be triggered by an occurrence in their external environment. They associate it with a previous episode of anxiety, triggering another episode, even if the danger is not immediate or even a reality. In terms of physical issues, triggers are most often associated with reactions within the body, which can cause discomfort of unhappiness, allergies, intolerances, even physical aches and pains. So how can knowing this help though, right? Becoming aware of your triggers And knowing when, where, and how they are impacted is an amazing way to start gaining a real handle on your health and maintaining a positive relationship to it. To do this, we must first acknowledge the triggers for what they are. And this one step often proves to be a difficult step for most people. And it's doable. Oh, sorry. I keep shaking around. Sorry.
Earthquake.
Right?
If you're really serious about improving your health, it's important to be honest with yourself about the goals that you set. It's all too easy to have great intentions which never come into fruition. And this is why setting goals that align with your truest and most realistic intentions is so vital on any journey to health. Setting smaller goals over a longer period of time is generally a more realistic goal than the choice that many people make to go full force on a new health plan for a few days or weeks and then just completely give up.
Yeah.
And that's not to say that you can't have a long-term goal, but simply making sure that the steps to get there are smaller and more achievable is a huge benefit.
Yeah.
So what are you guys' current health-centered goals?
Ooh, I can't wait to see what happens in the comments.
Yeah, we'll
Nice.
see.
Mm-hmm. Whoa there, Wrangler. Earthquake again. All right, so comparison is the thief of joy, right? And this is really a lovely quote that I like to remember and remind people of when it becomes really difficult to reduce the urge and tendency to compare ourselves with other people. The reality is that optimum health looks very different for everyone, and trying to follow other people's idea of it will ultimately result in distancing you further from your own experience of it. The best way to combat this is to make sure your choices, actions, and interactions are all done in a way that supports your well-being. Your body will require a different particular set of nutrients and minerals at different times, in different portions, and on even different days. Getting to know this can be difficult, right? Getting to know this is difficult enough without the added confusion of comparing your fluctuations to someone else.
It's true.
Yeah.
For those of us that have responsibilities like family and work commitments, it can seem even more impossible to strike a balance between ensuring that your health is in check and still fulfilling those other duties. So if you're still struggling with this, I'd like you to try and understand it this way. Imagine how much these other areas of your life, your kids, your work, your relationships, would benefit from you being in an optimum state of health and owning your own space. There are very few areas of our lives that don't improve when we start prioritizing self-care. It can be helpful to remind yourself of this when making important health-related choices. Do you want to show up 100% at work? Do you want to improve your career? Do you want to be able to care and provide for your children in a wholesome, nurturing, and self-assured manner? And what would it take for you to reach this state of balance?
That's a great question. Like, what would it really take? Who do you need to be or become to show up 100%, right? To be present fully for your family.
Yeah.
So mental well-being is just as important as physical well-being, no matter how hard we may resist to address it. One great way to maximize positive mental health is to prioritize open and honest communication in all areas of your life, right? Just be straight, be flat with it. Choosing to remain open and to honestly express emotions when they can prove extremely difficult for some people and can also lead to various emotional imbalances. For this reason, being honest with ourselves and those around us is hugely important if we are to assess and improve our health. Vital areas of health assessment that shouldn't be ignored are being honest with yourself about the positive and negative aspects of your relationships, being honest about your emotions in said relationships, and being honest about how these things impact your health, both positively and negatively. Really take on challenging yourself to take an honest look at some of these areas in your life. Write them down in your notebook, right? Really just inquire, be in the inquiry of this, and then look to see what could you put into practice? How could you improve or change them to better support your health? I should piggy bank.
For your financial health. So in the same way that the term physical health doesn't merely outline your state of good and bad health in a given moment, financial health doesn't necessarily apply to how much money you currently have in your bank account.
Mm-mm.
A healthy attitude towards money is achieved when we are realistic and calm about the flow of our income and expenditure to the extent that it neither rules our lives nor restricts us in any way.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked about this earlier too.
We did.
The same can be said about health here. Our attitude is everything, and the way that we should neither ignore nor obsess about our health is a delicate balance to maintain at all times. It's often stated that being healthy is expensive. While it's true that many whole food stores and gyms can place unfair strain on our pockets, the reality of this is that there are many other ways to achieve nutrition and fitness goals if we are set on doing so. It just might take a little bit of research on your part.
Right? Exactly. So one thing that, we really want to stress in this seemingly never-ending road to achieve health is that it's not a straight path. We sometimes need to hit the low points in order to realize that something needs to change. These negative experiences are often exactly the motivation we need to keep going and achieving higher levels of health. Neither ignoring nor obsessing about your health, mindset, exercise, and food habits is healthy. It's important to keep an eye on your beliefs surrounding your efforts to maximize them. If this area of your health may be an issue for you, it can be helpful to ask yourself 2 questions. 1, is my relationship to exercise, food, well-being beneficial or obsessive? 2, can I miss a day of exercise or wellness practices and not freak out? Yes, I can.
Childhood experiences. Children are very easily influenced when it comes to belief systems, and we talked about that at the beginning of the class. So between the ages of 7 and 11, we endure what psychologists call the mirroring stage, where we mirror beliefs, actions, and intentions of those who we look up to. This can be parents, guardians, peers, or any other inspirational figures. It stands to reason so that the health habits of those we look up to will impact our lives too, and cause us to form beliefs and habits similar to those that we observe during this phase.
Yeah.
So
even if our perception or observation or occurrence of what those people we admire are doing, we create our own little stories between 7 and 11 that may not even be true. So this is why as adults we end up with these crazy health habits, right? Because we made up a story between 7 and 11 about what that meant, so therefore it's ours too. Oh, there's a rabbit hole there.
So it's really interesting to consider the links between childhood illness and exposure to poor attitudes to health at a young age. So many adults don't realize that their poor attitudes and habits toward health until it has already become too late and illness has begun. So if your health is at risk, it might be worth taking a look back at the attitudes and habits that you were exposed to as you grew up. Were they damaging or supportive? Did your parents respect their health as much as they cared for yours?
Right. And beautiful questions. Absolutely beautiful questions. And there's more inquiry possible there for sure. So, when it comes to assessing health habits and how you relate to them on a day-to-day basis, the ultimate question comes down to this. Are you prepared to accept the habits which may be holding you back from experiencing optimum health? Do you want to experience optimum health and happiness? You know, a lot of times we'll say, yeah, of course we do. Yet, no, we don't, right? So making the choice to change the way that you view health is ultimately a very personal one, right? And we will look different for everybody. That's why it's important to do some deep self-introspection as you embark on the journey to improve your health. Be open, be honest, be realistic with yourself about what you may need to change, where you want to go, and how you will get there. Are you ready for this? What, if anything, do you feel is still holding you back? Right? And on a side note, if you get stuck in this, what's holding me back? I just don't know, right? Those beliefs and values from our childhood. There's actually a conversation that can be had to help uncover and explore those things. And, one of the education programs that I have been with is Landmark Worldwide. And I did a lot of self-discovery through their program called the Landmark Forum. And, if you guys would like to have a conversation about what's possible for your life, not only in your health world, but in all aspects of your life, if there are other areas that aren't working, I'd be more than happy to have a conversation with you about the impact that the Landmark Forum had on my life and the possibilities that it created for me, getting healthier, releasing and letting go of anger and resentment, allowing me to grow the practice to serve more people and have better relationships with my family, are just some of the benefits that I got. And I'm going to leave it at that, and we're going to move on.
Knowledge and awareness are great, and they will definitely help you as you progress through the various stages and challenges that life presents us with. But these are nothing without action.
What? We can say affirmations all day long and not do anything and not get what we want?
Well, yep.
Rats. Action, action, action. World of performance.
So acting on our beliefs is the first key stage to achieving optimum health. And continuous action means continuous and strengthened success. So, are you ready to take action?
Yes, I am, Dr. Sarah. Let's do it.
All right.
What's the first thing we need to take action on, though?
Wow.
Our shopping lists.
Our shopping list.
Our shopping lists.
Yep.
Beautiful. All right, so Dr. Sarah and I are going to be launching a 30-day weight loss challenge in October. We are doing the program first, right? So we are going to jump in and experience everything that everyone's going to be going through that's going to be in this weight loss challenge, right? So that we can say we've walked it, right? We know exactly what you're going through. We know what you're going to come up against. And we're starting that on Monday. So be ready for some craziness. All right. So if you want resources, this is not the right picture. My pictures don't match.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. So if you want access to the resources, as always, we will post them in comments or we will email them to you. Just reach out to us and let us know that you want those resources for sure.
All right. So thank you for joining us today. We know you had other things that you could have been doing right now, and we're glad that you chose to spend some time with us. So thriving for me is being able to share these tips and help to boost other people's self-awareness and knowledge. And so with this in mind, we thank you wholeheartedly for this mutually beneficial relationship that we have
created it.
This
yes,
evening.
I love it. Beautiful. And here's where you can reach us, right? So if you would like to talk more about the Landmark Forum, reach out to me. If you would like to have a coaching session about answering some of these questions, right? Dr. Sarah and I are here to have a coaching session with you. Chiropractically speaking, if you're having ill health and you've been through everywhere else and you don't know what else to do, call and schedule an appointment with us. You can also schedule an appointment on our website now. Reach out to us, let us know how best we can help, because we are here. And then next Tuesday is our next Facebook Live class. And it is called the Shoulder Pain Solution. So if you or someone you know is having shoulder pain and you would like some solutions that you can do at home or otherwise questions to ask your doctors, head over to the event page as soon as we're done here, click I'm going, and then share it with your friends and family and your timeline. That's what it's called. I almost called it a streamline. I'm not sure what that is. But and share it into your timeline and let everybody know that we're here to help. And have a great night. Love you. Bye.
Thank you.